Uh. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday night, which means one thing and one thing only. We're here, presented by Going for Two Live and the Going for Two Fantasy Network on Twitch, YouTube, and everywhere else with the Fantasy Cheat Sheet every other Tuesday. Class is almost in session, but before we get into that, let's talk to the other guys. First off, Jordan, what's up, my man?
Nothing too much, man. It's been 2 weeks since we got back on, so I'm ready to talk some more football with y'all.
Oh, I am too. And last but not least, Going for Two's biggest and only Jacoby Brissett fan, Jamie. What is up, my man?
All right, so what would a Cleveland Browns fan do if they won the Super Bowl?
What?
We would turn off our PlayStations, put the Madden back in the case.
That's actually pretty good coming from a Cleveland Browns fan. All right, so for tonight's show, we're going to talk about some players that we like stock up and stock down. But before that, we just want to talk a little bit of football in general. One quick piece of news. Brian Hoyer rejoins McDaniels and is now the backup quarterback for Jimmy Garoppolo. It doesn't surprise me. Is this anything, or is this just another piece of news to fill up the day, boys?
Step piece, man. It's nothing too exciting.
Nothing exciting at all. Josh McDaniels trying to recreate New England and going to fail like the rest of the coaches besides Mike Vrabel does. One day these Belichick disciples will realize you really need a good quarterback to kind of emulate the success New England had. So,
well, thank you, Jordan, for that segue. Speaking of Mike Vrabel, we're going to talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans and the rumor that's come up this week, and that is that they are willing and wanting to move up from the 11 pick to the 3 pick to get a quarterback in the Arizona slot. First off, Jordan, should they? And if they do, would it be Levis or Richardson if those are the two left? With that offense, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think they need a quarterback. I'm of the mindset. I mean, obviously, a lot of financials go into it, but if there's a MVP winning quarterback that can be had, which Lamar Jackson can be had right now,
yep.
I think I would rather take a swing at that. I mean, Anthony Richardson has a lot of upside, but we don't know how long it will take or if he'll ever reach that potential. Everybody isn't Josh Allen. So I know that's like a prototype, but I mean, there's only one Josh Allen and one person like that who made that significant leap. So if I was them, I would definitely be looking for a quarterback, but I would be trying to get Lamar Jackson and also trying to use that 11th pick on a weapon for Lamar Jackson as opposed to trading whatever assets you have to move up to get a project.
That is definitely a good way to go if you can do it. Jamie, what you got, my man?
I mean, I agree. Like, they should get Lamar, but I just don't see them doing that. They're in a total rebuild, so they could save a lot of cap money if they get rid of Tannehill. So I think a good move would just be move up, get Richardson at 3.
I think if they were to do one, it would be Richardson. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if they're going to end up pulling it off or not. And who knows? We don't even know if there's a secret team coming up, which I will discuss in a little bit. But because I don't think it's going to happen, but with what I'm going to bring up, and you never know. The other thing I just want to bring up, partly because I saw it in an article this morning, and it's kind of funny. Out of all 32 teams for Hard Knocks this year, there's only 4 teams that are even eligible to be on Hard Knocks. And here's the 3 criteria. The 3 criteria is they do not have a first-year head coach, because you can say no if you have a head first coach. A team that hasn't been in the playoffs for 2 years, because they want teams that are intriguing. So that if you haven't been in the playoffs for 2 years, you can be on the show. And the third is you cannot have to have appeared in the last 10 years. So like the Cowboys couldn't do it. The Lions couldn't do it again. Obviously, they're not going to go back-to-back. Chiefs couldn't do it and teams like that. So the 4 teams are, and what I want you guys to tell me is, who do you want to see? Because there is one that I really want to see, but they will not be on there. That team, there is no way that if Aaron Rodgers becomes a New York Jet, that the Jets are going to go onto that show. It is just not going to happen. The other 3 teams that are eligible are the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, and the Washington Commanders. I have my opinion who it's going to be. I would love to see be the Jets. But, Jamie, let's start off with you. Who do you think it's going to be, and who do you want to see?
I think it's going to be the Bears, just with the addition of the wide receivers and, getting rid of the running back, see how that works out. But I want it to be the Jets. I would love to see Aaron Rodgers on national TV just every week.
Exactly. Jordan, what do you think?
I agree, man. I want it to be the Jets. I actually think if he goes there, I think they'll do it. HBO will be clamoring for that, definitely. But if it isn't the Jets, I mean, I guess like these coaches, none of these coaches are really like big personality guys, so you don't really have a Dan Campbell or anything like that to kind of excite you. I want to say New Orleans because it's close to where I live, but Derek Carr, he's just not like a TV guy. He does, but I mean, they have Alvin Kamara. He's a personality. Michael Thomas. So if it's not the Jets, I guess I would like to see the Saints get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the court. I want it to be Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. But here's why I do not think it's the Saints. I think one of the players you mentioned is why it's not going to be the Saints.
Kamara.
I do not think the NFL is going to end up wanting Kamara with that or the Saints are not going to want that with everything being done. And if they haven't done the punishment yet, all that. I just have a weird, sneaky feeling that another friend of mine and Jamie's is going to be happy because I think it's going to be the boring Commanders.
Oh,
There's just something telling me that this is just going to be the boring Commanders.
Well, you know why? Because they got an all-star quarterback, Jacoby Brissett.
yeah.
No, it's because they got a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy. That is why.
The stud Brissett, man.
Going to turn him into MVP.
Yeah, Sam Howell's going to turn himself into the Gardner Minshew 2.0 with that. All he's got to do is shave the goatee off. Okay, so let's get straight into the business of the show. So we're going to talk about some stock up, stock down. And it's funny that we just talked about Hard Knocks because Jordan is going to start us off with a guy who was on the Jets and got the door kicked behind him down to Jamie's team. Go for it, Jordan.
Jamie. Elijah Moore's stock is trending up. I mean, I think, at the point he was with the Jets, it couldn't be any lower than it was than them just trying to get rid of him. Obviously, the Browns gave up a second-round pick to get him, so they were invested in him. He's going to be playing with Deshaun Watson. Donovan Peoples-Jones established himself last year as like the number 2 behind Amari Cooper. But I think Elijah Moore, he has more pedigree. I think he's a better receiver. And him getting this chance, they traded him early, so now he has a chance to really build rapport with Watson. I think he'll be key for the Browns as Watson continues to get more reps and he starts to hopefully look back to prior to his suspension form. If he gets to that level, I can see Elijah Moore being a really good player, wide receiver 3 or something like that. But I definitely think his stock is trending up.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think, like you said, they were just pushing him down. I mean, he was being rumored to go with, in an Aaron Rodgers deal. He was rumored to not even, not get cut, but, ride the pine pony after getting Lazard. And, obviously Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson. I do like it. I am worried that I'm curious to see what they do with him in the offense. I think the move in general, I know we're not talking about teams or anything, but I mean, Jamie, you can weigh in on this too. I think this is going to hurt David Bell more than anyone on Cleveland.
Yep.
I think it's going to be, Cooper, Moore, and then they're going to use Jamie's buddy DPJ deep and, to stretch the field, and they still got Njoku. But I mean, I think like you said, his stock is definitely up. and I looked at getting him in one league, but couldn't pull it off yet. But depending what Watson and that offense can do, we'll see. Jamie, why don't you give us your thoughts on Elijah Moore and then roll right into yours?
I mean, I love Elijah Moore, man. Great player, speedy guy. Eric Berry just loves them speedy receivers. I know we were trying to get Tyreek Hill last year. Elijah Moore is not Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying that, but it's a good fit for the offense in the whole. So I love it, and it is going to be DPJ as a number 3. They're going to use Moore and Cooper, and they did say they were going to throw the ball a lot more this year. So they invested a lot in passing games. So I even heard rumors they got that Chubb on the trade block, right?
I heard they're willing to take offers, but I don't think.
I don't see it happening. But I mean, just for them doing that makes me think they are going to air the ball out a lot more this year. So I want a piece of that offense, and I think Elijah Moore would be the cheapest piece that'll give you the best investment.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's this helps Watson's stock rise as well.
Oh yeah.
Get back to this. If they have the confidence in him to want to throw more with Nick Chubb still kind of in his prime, I mean, or kind of the back end of his prime. But if they're willing to throw more, obviously they invested a lot of money in him, so they want to see what he can do. I think if he can get back to that form, he'll have the weapons at his disposal, so he should be able to produce at a high level.
Yep. And then with Elijah Moore leaving the Jets, that leaves Garrett Wilson, my guy that I'm talking about. I mean, his stock is going way up right now, and it's for a good reason too. I mean, last year he was a wide receiver 6 in targets, but he was wide receiver 92 in catchable target rate. That's insane. That's a big, huge difference. I mean, that's not good at all, and it's not his fault. He had 5 games.
He had Joe Flacco.
He had 5 games last year where he's seen somewhere between like 10 to 16, 17 targets, and that's bad quarterback play, and the quality of targets just wasn't there. And last year, he ended up as 20, wide receiver 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there. But this year, I can see him spiking way up because what is he going to get? A better quarterback with the rumors of Aaron Rodgers going there, right? I mean, it's going to be wheels up for Wilson this year, man. Like, I see him as a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Like, give him those targets with the quarterback that can actually get him the ball consistently, and I'll be drafting him all over. Like, I've seen him drafted as high as wide receiver 6 in some best ball leagues. It's a little too high for me. I have him at wide receiver 9 or 10. But I just can't see drafting him over like J.J. Chase, Kupp, Hill, Diggs, Brown, Lamb, people like that.
Mm-hmm.
So once they go like middle of the second round, I'll be targeting him all day there, and I think he'll give you a bang for your buck.
Yeah, I agree, man. His stock is up. I hope this Aaron Rodgers deal better go through, because I feel like the Jets kind of put themselves in a sticky situation if it doesn't go through. I still think Wilson does well with Zach Wilson as a quarterback. If that's what it has to be, I think he'll still do okay. But I don't think he can reach that upside that Jamie's talking about unless Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback.
Oh, completely. I think Garrett Wilson, I mean, I was going to try to – I put in a trade offer today for Garrett Wilson, and I got rejected so fast it wasn't even funny.
Oh, in Dynasty,
and it wasn't
man.
even – yeah. And it's like – people are like, no. And I was willing to – and I told the guy, hey, here's the start. I'm willing to a little bit overpay because it's Jamie, it's a 12-team start 8. So it's
you want those studs.
So I have a stud. It's the same one, the Sam Debo. So same league. So I was trying to get Debo as a stud and then bring Garrett next to him as a stud.
Yeah, I mean, I got Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 5, I think, in Dynasty.
I saw him. Yeah, I saw him at 4 or 5.
I have him in a Dynasty. I think I have like Chase. I mean, not Chase, Jefferson.
Jefferson, Chase, and then probably Lamb and A.J. Brown, right?
Yeah.
That's
what I got. And then, like, Garrett Wilson's top of my next tier.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And frankly, I'm perfectly okay with
Yep.
it. So my stock up guy, my first stock up of the night is not as high as number 5 at his position, but he's on a new team, and that is little mighty Miles Sanders, who I did not like. I'm not a big Miles Sanders guy. You guys know that. Also, don't expect me to be your fan when you tell me not to draft you and then you go off and have a good season. With Philadelphia, he was in half PPR. He was 11th last year. I know we had a decent amount of tackles. However, we still cannot forget he was on a team with frickin' Jalen Hurts as his quarterback, stealing some of those touchdowns or opportunities within the 5. Don't know if it would have been a touchdown or not. Now he goes to Carolina. Frank Reich is the new head coach. Out of the last 7 years of his offenses, so in Indianapolis, and in Philly, when he was the offensive coordinator, 5 out of the last 7 years, he's had a running back in the top 12 in fantasy football. Sanders was 11th last year with Jalen Hurts. Do we know who their starting quarterback is this year? I mean, we know it's the number 1 pick, but that's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that, they're going to run the ball. They did get DJ Chark. They do have Adam Thielen. I know Jamie's not a big Adam Thielen guy, but what I'm saying is they're going to have to throw the ball to someone. And besides him, you got Hayden Hurst at tight end now. So they're going to have to use Miles Sanders a lot because I don't think Chuba Hubbard is the answer. Jordan, what do you think?
I agree, man. I'm just a little worried about, touchdown opportunities maybe in the offense if they struggle. However, he's going to have the volume. I'm not sure if him or Chuba Hubbard can really stand up to a big workload. We never really saw it from either one of them. But I think, they went out and signed him early in free agency. They're going to use him. Even if he splits with Hubbard, which I expect him to do, he's going to get the majority of the carries. They were successful last year running the ball with Dante Foreman and Hubbard. So, I could see Sanders definitely not having to worry about a quarterback taking most of the touchdowns inside the 5. So, yeah, stock up for him. It was a good move for Carolina as well, getting a running back of his caliber.
Yeah. Jamie, what do you think about Miles Sanders?
I mean,
Carolina?
I have him right now about the same just because of the opportunity. He's going to get tons of it. Not the quality that he did on the Eagles, but he's going to get some carries on the goal line when they get down there, if they get down there. So his touchdowns can go up. But I like him. I'll buy him where he's at right now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think people were just down on him at first just because of the whole thought of going to Carolina from Philly, but you got to take everything into account. Opportunity is why I think he'll have I'm not necessarily saying he's going to have, as good, like perfectly, but like you guys both said, opportunity is the key here. Opportunity is the king. Well, opportunity is also the king when you're the quarterback because you got to get the snaps and you get the ball all the time. Not if you're playing Call of Duty or not on the field because of injury. Jordan, take it away.
This guy that I want to talk about, Kyler Murray, obviously his stock was already going to be down going into the season because of the knee injury he was coming off of. But the reports of DeAndre Hopkins being released, I think even when Kyler Murray does come back, if they release Hopkins and don't get anything for him, that'll destroy that offense for this season. I feel like if they trade Hopkins and get a weapon in return, that could still salvage some of Murray's value. First of all, we don't know when he's coming back. He won't be ready for the start of the season. I don't anticipate. So that'll be a knock on his value. He played terrible in all the games when he didn't have Hopkins in his career. They release Hopkins and don't get anything in return. That offense will be a struggling mess. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to drafting Kyler Murray. Even if they told me miraculously he would be 100% healthy for the start of the season, I don't want it.
No, neither do I. Jamie,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
100% agree. Stock down Kyler Murray. I'm not touching him in redrafts or best balls. Even in super flex, if I get him at a value, because like you said, he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. But what I do love doing is in Dynasty, when the stock's down, I like to buy. So I actually made a trade. I think it was the 211 and the 105 for Kyler Murray. And I think that's a steal. Like, I should have added another first on top of that. So, like, I jumped, like, the guy offered me the trade. I'm like, I jumped all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, super flex or
It's
one?
super flex, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you got to take it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Kyler Murray's kind of down this year in general. You have an older running back. You don't know what they're going to do in the draft. I mean, they have holes all over the place. They could draft out of 22 starting spots. They could probably draft 21 and be perfectly fine. I'm just not sure what this team is going to do this year. I have a feeling they are going to be last place in the West again. And there's nothing they can really do about it because Kyler is Kyler. And unless you bring another star in or another weapon, like you said, Jordan, their biggest weapon besides, him is probably not going to be on the team next year. If he's not released, he's going to get traded at some point. It's just they better not be dumb and release him. And that's what Jordan's trying to say. So next up is a player from the team second in the draft this year. Jamie, take it away.
Oh, okay. So Dameon Pierce, man, you either love him or you hate him. Right now, I have him as a stock down. He ended the season last year as running back 27, and right now, Fantasy Pros has him ECR as running back 20. So last season, he played about 69% of the snaps, I think, 65, 69. But he was running back 6 for opportunity share. So his fantasy points per opportunity were only 0.64, which was running back 67 per opportunity. And like pretty much he's a value running back. He needs the bulk of the carries to produce quality fantasy points. And with Singletary there, I don't see that happening right now. Pierce played about 70% of the snaps last year. Singletary played about 65% of his snaps. So I just look at it as a 50-50 split. So how is Pierce going to produce RB2 numbers on a 50-50 split with Singletary? I'm looking at it as I'll let someone draft Singletary or Dameon Pierce. 4 rounds later, I'll just take the better value, draft Singletary, get the same production. And Singletary is the better pass catcher. Dameon Pierce had 30 catches last season. That's going to go down. So how is he going to be an RB2 splitting the backfield with a guy like Singletary? I just don't see it. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Jordan.
I agree, man. I'm a little worried about this. When I saw that they signed Singletary, I was like, well, damn, just when I thought he was probably gonna, have the job all to himself, they went and got some debt. And I could just be, just you like to have as many good running backs as you can because they get hurt a lot. So that could also be a possibility. But I think I just think that they'll be splitting a lot. Like you mentioned, Singletary is the better pass catcher. The offense will have a rookie quarterback, so that's going to be in flux. Not to say that Davis Mills was Patrick Mahomes, but I think he kind of knew the offense a little bit more. They have a new coach. I don't know what to expect from that offense. They have some weapons. I mean, Dalton Schultz is there and things like that. So maybe they'll have touchdown opportunities, but it's a question mark on offense all around for me. So I'm gonna stay away if I can.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pierce, don't get me wrong, but I just had this gut feeling that if they did not do it in free agency, it was going to happen in the draft one way or the other, where they were going to get another guy maybe in the same area as they got him. I believe he was a third rounder?
4th, I think. Beginning of the 4th.
So I thought they would pick someone up in the 3rd or 4th, whoever's there around there and see what they can do, put them together as a tandem, maybe even a little bit earlier than that, depending on who they could get. But overall, you have to expect his stock to go down because of the opportunities, like Jamie was saying.
Yep.
It's just plain and
simple.
simple.
I've been selling them in every league that I got him in. I'm trying to sell him like for mid or early to mid second by himself. But I actually made 2 pretty good trades. I traded the 112 and Damian Pierce for the 104. Yeah, it was the 104, and then I traded the 110 and Damian Pierce for the 103 in Superflex.
Mike's frozen?
The what? Hold on. Am I frozen?
No, it looked like Mike's frozen.
Oh, Mike's frozen. Mike, you're frozen, bro.
Oh man, that was like a great pose. Like he's not moving.
Oh man, but yeah. So Jordan, what do you think about that trade though? I took the 112 and Damian Pierce moved up to the 104, and then another one. It was the 110 and Damian Pierce for the 103.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. I like the 112 and Damian Pierce for the 1-4. Yeah, I like that. I definitely
Yeah. Yep. You back, Mike?
Man,
I'm
I
back.
thought you
I'm back. But you two are frozen. I hear you, but you guys are completely. Hold on, real quick.
you were frozen.
All right, now I got Jamie.
Yo.
Okay. What's weird is you're moving. I can hear Jordan, but I'm just gonna roll. We're just gonna roll with it.
All right.
This is weird. I don't know what's going on. All right. So for my stock down, I'm gonna go my stock down. I'm gonna flip my guys just because of both of you guys went stock down for a bit. Mac Jones. With all these rumors that they're down on him, they want to trade him, whatever you want to call it. Even before then, I was stock down on him, partially because I think I don't think these Lamar Jackson rumors to New England are completely out of the realm of possibility. I mean, if you would have asked me 2 years if a quarterback would have gone drinking ayahuasca and then going into the dark room for 4 days to figure out what he wants to do with his future, I would have told you were nuts too. So for someone to sit there and say that Bill Belichick wants the skinnier, better version of Cam Newton back on his team, I mean, it doesn't surprise me one bit. But I just think for this team to do something, I don't know if mac and cheese is the answer. I think he could be a decent quarterback, but let's be real here. They're not getting him the weapons. The only weapon they really got is a guy I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But Jamie, what do you think about mac and cheese, Mr. Mac Jones?
I mean, like you said, he's not going to be great. He's average. But I did hear that they hired the Alabama coach,
Bill O'Brien.
And I don't think he played with him, but he played in the same style offense, so that could help him. But still, I'm just not impressed with Mac Jones at all.
Yeah, I agree, man. Mac is. I'm hoping he didn't reach his ceiling his rookie year, but yeah, I like this. Like Bam's saying, it just feels like Bill Belichick has kind of had it with Mac. You can see the outburst Mac has on the sidelines during the game and all this, and they obviously played Bailey Zappi in those games, and the offense looked better, scored the most points that they had all season with Zappi starting. So I could see Bill just having enough of Mac and whatever he has going on, and them trying to move on. I don't think he's the answer, and I think Belichick knows that as well.
I mean, his average points per game, not total, not as finished in fantasy for the season, but his average points per game was 35th in the league. Do I need to say more? All right, so mac and cheese, I think they're down on him. Jordan, why don't you give us your third player of the night?
My third player of the night. So obviously this is all contingent. Oh no, my third. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong part. Oh, all right. So the guy that it's all still contingent on what happens, in the draft or whatever. But as of now, I want to say stock up for Samaje Perine, the backup running back for the Denver Broncos right now. He's behind Javonte Williams, but as we all know, Javonte tore his ACL and he tore another knee ligament as well. So, typically when it's just the ACL, it's about an 8-9 month recovery. But when you tear other ligaments, it kind of prolongs the recovery as i.e., Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, guys like that. So I'm not expecting Javonte to be ready for the start of the year because he got hurt in week 4. Not expecting him to be ready for the start of the year. So that means, I guess, Samaje Perine time unless they draft a running back. Sean Payton is the coach. We've seen what he can do from the offensive side. We've seen Samaje Perine isn't Alvin Kamara. I'm not suggesting that. But, Russ can get the ball to the running backs. He was doing that before Javonte got hurt, actually, obviously in a different offense. But, Sean Payton likes to use the running backs. I could see Samaje having some values, particularly in the front quarter of the season until Javonte gets back. And even when Javonte does get back, he won't be 100%. Probably the entire year. He probably will just start getting his legs under him way in the end of the season. So they'll probably have a timeshare up until that point. Perine will be cheap, and he can give you some good value, particularly at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, Jamie, what do you think about Samaje?
Everything he said. 100%. They do use their running backs in the passing game. You have a better coach now. We've seen what Samaje did in Cincinnati without Mixon. Like he was good on weeks. I see him being great up until at least week 8. And then maybe they'll start bringing Javonte back slowly, but still, Javonte is not going to be 100%. Like we don't see that. Like we saw with Dobbins last year. Every running back that pretty much. And then he can have value all the way to the end of the season. And if not, you trade him week 8, week 9 when he's at his peak.
Yeah,
get some value for him because he is cheap in drafts right now.
Yeah. I'll be honest. When I saw this signing, I went, why? Why did you have to go to the goddamn Broncos? Because I got you on 2 of my teams, and I want to be able to cheer for you. But when you go to the opponent, the rival, and I know you're actually going to be good for 6 weeks, I got a problem with it. That being said, I think this is a stock up for Samaje. Jordan's right. Jordan's been right on almost all of it tonight. Samaje is one of those guys that he's like we kind of said in the same, not in the exact same vein, but about Miles Sanders. When it comes to running backs in the NFL these days, opportunity is king. And for those first 4 to 6 weeks, he's going to have the opportunity. So, we'll see what happens after that. But, Jamie, who's your next player?
It's Christian Kirk, which his stock is way down, and I don't understand it because last season he was wide receiver 12 at the end of the year. He was in the top 10 for most of the season. Fantasy Pros has him right now outside the top 30 receivers. My last best ball draft I just did last week, he went wide receiver 25, 26. And, you would expect the player's value to drop a little when they add another weapon like they did with Calvin Ridley. But this seems way too low for him to plummet to wide receiver 25 to 30. The Jags are going to keep throwing the ball a ton. Like, we already know that. And, Ridley isn't going to affect the Kirk role. Kirk played 50% of his snaps in the slot. That's not going to change with adding Ridley. Ridley is going to affect, what's his name, Zay Jones, if anything.
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones is gone. I think Zay Jones.
Yeah, so it's going to be Zay. I agree. It's going to be Zay and Ridley on the outside.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect anyone's snap percentage because if Jones was there, then one of them would go down. But because Marvin left, the snap percentage is probably going to be good.
Yeah. So just like right now, when it's stock market's down, I'm buying a guy right now at wide receiver 25 to 30 because he still get top 15, even with Ridley there, in my opinion.
Okay, go Jordan.
So I agree that his stock is down. Obviously, because when you are the number one guy, then you're not anymore. Your stock is going to naturally go down. But I don't think that it'll be a point to where he won't produce. Trevor Lawrence spreads it around. Obviously, we saw the games that Zay Jones ended up having towards the end of the year. They're going to, like you mentioned, Jamie, they're going to throw the ball a lot. So I'm definitely I'm in on Christian Kirk. I'm sure he's going to drop in drafts because Ridley is back, so I'm taking him. But I definitely think as of now, though, his stock is down. And if the Jaguars go out and get another weapon, then we would have to revisit this conversation. But as of now, it's down a little bit, but I'm still drafting him in redraft.
And we seen how much they paid him too, so they're not going to waste all that money.
No, you're right. I agree with you guys, but I'm gonna spin it a little bit different way. I think it's in the sense of kind of what Jordan was saying, where is stock is only going down because of the other role with Ridley. I get where you're saying, Jamie, in the sense of buying them because where you value them. You're not going in Dynasty and other formats like where you play, Jamie. You're going to be able to get him at that value, the dip. And the only reason he is dipping is because even though we like him and we think his numbers are going to be higher than they could be, the market isn't in on him because, like in best ball, you're going for the boom and you need those consistent weeks. I think that's why his thing's down. You got Ingram, who they re-up. You have him. The other thing we got to remember, because I've brought it up on other shows, one thing that they didn't really advertise when they spent all this money last year, and I agree they spent the money, but one of the things that everyone's going on the Bears for is the fact that they have to spend a certain amount of money because of that 3-year average, right? They have to be over that threshold. The problem that no one really mentioned that was part of the reason, not the entire reason, but that was also part of the reason Jacksonville spent their money last year, because they were in that same situation, but the NFL didn't advertise it like that's why they had to do it like they are this year. But I do agree with you. They're going to throw the ball around. He is going to get it. I just think if I had a guy on that team, I would want it to be Ridley. But that's just me being a Ridley guy. My next guy is actually stock up, and that is the only weapon that the New England Patriots have on their team. And yes, that is Ramondre Stevenson, not you, Juju Smith-Schuster, you traitor. No, you got a ring. I'm happy for you. Go get your money. Go get paid. Go do TikToks in the locker room somewhere else. Okay. So Ramondre Stevenson, I think Bill is going, like we mentioned, stock down on mac and cheese. I think Bill has to be able, he's going to have to do what to win. Bill O'Brien did it is coming from Alabama. If he's going to have to run the ball, he's going to have to run the ball. Ramondre Stevenson's body can hold up to it, unlike Damian Harris, who just left. They do have Pierre Strong, who I think is going to get some carries. I just don't think anyone in New England is going to be able to take that job away from him. Quantity is key again. Opportunity is king again, but he's got the talent to back it up. And I don't think they're going to draft someone in the draft at running back. They could later, but they just drafted 2 rookies last year. Jamie, what do you think?
I don't think they're going to draft anyone high because they did draft Strong and Kevin Harris, I believe. Yeah. Didn't they just sign James Robinson?
Yeah, they got.
Yeah, so I mean, they're going to keep pounding the rock with Stevenson, man, and he's going to catch all those passes like he did last year. He's going to get the goal line work. So definitely stock up, buy him.
Yeah, I agree. The minute that Damian Harris signed with it's Buffalo, he signed with. Yes. Yeah, the minute I saw that, I was like, "Well, Ramondre." I was gonna be taking Ramondre. I think I would be taking Ramondre around the second round anyway. Even if Damian Harris might have been there, but without him for sure, definitely stock up for Ramondre.
All right. Yeah. Stock up for Ramondre for sure. Why is my computer doing stupid stuff again? All right. I am back. Oh, yeah. All right. So, hey, Jordan's back for me too. Whoopee. All right. So, before we get into the cheat of the week, I just want to bring up our sponsor of the evening. We got Underdog. Here is the QR code if you want to use it. It's right over Jamie's face right now. So it's right there, Jamie. Keep pointing at it and you're good to go. So today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading best ball leagues with huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems for every major sport, even the Masters coming up. Sign up with our promo code GF2 and then get a deposit match up to $100. Yes, that's 100 buckaroos. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2, and you can start drafting your best ball teams and using the pick'ems. All right, so let's just get into it. Let me remove this away from Jamie's head. I don't.
I usually leave it there. Yeah. No one wants to see my face.
Right. So it is time for Cheat of the Week. We all got another player we want to talk about, and this one isn't interesting, Jordan, because this is one I was bringing up. If you didn't, this is interesting. Go ahead.
So, like I want to preface this with at the moment, or it's contingent on other moves happening or whatever. But I think the stock could potentially be down a good deal for Austin Eckler. The Austin Eckler who has been a touchdown machine the last couple of years. The Austin Eckler who's caught 100 passes in his career, multiple seasons. That guy. He's having contract issues. He wants a big deal. The Chargers at this point in time are like, nah, we're not doing that. So he was requested a trade, wants to get out of there to get his money. I don't think he can go anywhere else and get the level of usage and the quality of touches that he's gotten the last several years in Los Angeles. There isn't a team right now that's that desperate for a running back to where he would get those touches the minute he stepped in. Obviously, barring some injury to somebody like Jonathan Taylor or anything. But yeah, I don't see that happening at the moment. So he's requesting a trade. He wants his money. If they grant that wish and he's traded, his stock is going way down to me. Every team basically splits carries now to begin with. He was doing that with the Chargers with multiple guys anyway. But he goes to – I would assume he would want to get traded maybe to a contender who could pay him. And at that point, if that happens, his role is going to be diminished because they're going to be trying to win games, not appease him and his touches. So, wherever he goes, I think his stock is going to be down because I don't think any team is going to give him the level of opportunities and touchdown opportunities, particularly that he's had in Los Angeles.
Jamie, what do you think before I go on a little bit of a –
I mean, if he goes anywhere else besides Chargers, definitely his stock's going to go way down. Plus, with his age, he's at the 28 mark at the beginning of the season. That's the age where running backs usually start taking a dip anyway. He is a smart running back, and he does take himself out of the games. They keep himself fresh. But I just don't see it at his age, man, especially in another offense.
One more thing before you go, Mike. Before this last season, I thought there was no way his touchdown efficiency could have matched the year before. I didn't think that was possible. And then he did it again. So I really don't think, even if, he does stay in Los Angeles, I don't think he can replicate that level of touchdown efficiency again, especially if he goes to another team.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about it. So Jeff, the owner of Going for Two Live, he did a series last year of guys you're high on and then Devil's Advocate where he brought someone on that was good and bad, whatever. I was the anti-Austin Eckler. And I wasn't anti-Austin Eckler in the sense that I thought he was going to be horrible. I thought exactly what you just said. He wasn't going to be able to replicate all the touchdowns and all that, all the opportunities up close. For the exact, and one of the reasons I even said it on the 1 minute video that I had was what Jamie exactly said. They're going, because I thought, maybe Isaiah Spiller was going to do something, and that's going to lead to what I think about stock up or stock down. They drafted Isaiah Spiller, and I thought he was going to take some of the carries away because they were going to try to reduce the role because everybody thought they were going to be a team that was going to be in it at the end of the year with the Chiefs in that division. I even thought they were going to win the division and the Chiefs were going to get a wild card. But when it comes to stock up or stock down on him, I'm stock down on him even if he does not leave LA. I agree with you two 100%, but I think they're going to draft another running back. Either way, I think they're going to draft someone. I don't think they didn't even give him enough chance to try to be the guy. I think they're going to draft one, and Jamie might. I know Jamie has a couple crushes on the running back room already before the draft starts. I've been in a couple mock drafts with him, and I know one of his crushes. You know who I think they're going to take, Jamie?
Roshan Johnson.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
I think there's a chance that they could get him to be the battering ram that Austin Eckler isn't. And if that does happen, his stock has to be down. Jordan, do you have anything more to add?
Yeah, so I guess at that point, how many swings and misses at running back are the Chargers going to take? They took Josh Kelly. They took round 3. Obviously, they wasn't first round picks or anything, but and then they took Isaiah. So that's 3 running backs like over the course of the last few years, and none of them has been. They even went signed old Sony Michel. That didn't even work out.
Forgot about Sony.
So I just don't know if they want to keep putting those type of investments in running back.
I mean, I could see it a little bit. I mean, like there's been rumors that they're going to go after Bijan. Like I've seen mocks like that. That to me, they're not taking Bijan in the first round. But if you can get Roshan in the second or third, Jamie will draft you at 111. Roshan, I know it. You don't have to worry about that.
109.
Yeah, 109. But Jamie, who is a running back that I want to know why you want to talk about this running back because I'm interested.
I love this guy, and I'm all about him. It's Rachaad White for the Bucks. All right. So last year, as a rookie, he finished as a top 10 running back 3 times, and then he had 5 more games as a top 25 running back. So that's good numbers right there as a rookie. And I remember the game against Cleveland, he had 90% of the snaps. So he could handle a full workload if needed to be. Todd Bowles came out and said that he wanted White to be a 3-down back this year. I know it's only coach speak, but I kind of believe him a little bit. Let's see. He has the size. He has the speed. He has the pass-catching ability. So why not? And if you look at Player Profiler, his best comparable player is David Johnson. And we all remember how good that guy was in his prime, right? I'm not saying he is David Johnson, but that's who they compared him to.
Athletically.
Yeah. So, and do you actually see them adding anyone significant in the draft this year to take away any of his workload? Because no, they don't. Yeah. Because they pick 19? Then Bijan's probably going to be gone. Second round, like they have holes that they need to fill on defense, tight end, even quarterback. They only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now, so they need to draft somebody, at least a developmental guy in the 3rd, 4th round, something like that. So I just don't see them drafting a running back in the draft. So they're going to have to go with Rachaad White, and I see him producing. So maybe with one of their 5th rounders, they use it. At a little bit of depth, but that's not going to take away from White. Like I'm higher than White on almost everybody. Like I have him as a top 15 Dynasty running back right now, and people say I'm crazy for that. I don't know, man.
Okay, here we go. I got to take the mic. I am not saying you're crazy, okay, Jamie, but hear me out. The reason I was interested on how you were going to spin this is I actually thought you were going to spin it the way you did the other guys. I thought you were going to say something about people are down on them, are too high. I thought you were going to spin it where you were buying some kind of dip, and I was going to go, what dip?
Oh yeah, no.
I thought that's where I thought. Well, no, before the show, that's what I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to say you're in on them because of the low. Okay, so here's the thing. I do think he is the guy, but I do think they're going to have another running back on this team. I just have a weird, me, I have these weird feelings.
Who's left?
Jordan.
Kareem Hunt?
Hold on. Yes, exactly my point. Oh. Thank you for taking it, Jamie. I was going to say.
I can see that.
But Jordan knows this. I mean, this is before you were on, but you were watching it every week. How many times did I say something weird, and 1 out of every 3 times it stuck? I had 2 in a row with freaking Goff being a top 15 quarterback and then the Jets. All I'm saying is, there's something about Kareem Hunt And Jamie, you can attest to this because you're a Browns fan. And I can attest to this because I'm a Chiefs fan. Even though he was a good guy, people consider him self-centered. Okay? The reason I bring that up is he's going to want to go to a place that he does not have to. He wants his money. He wants his money. And I don't think he's going to be that guy who's going to go for the bank. I don't think he's going for the ring, if you get what I'm saying. I think he's going cash grab. And if he can go to Tampa Bay and take a little bit less money than he needs to somewhere, but not have to pay sales tax, and not have to pay income, I think he could be that kind of guy that could complement Rachaad White, but maybe take a little bit of away. I completely agree with you that they're not going to invest a top few pick in Rachaad White. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I don't think they're looking to invest high draft capital on a running back to replace him. But I wouldn't be surprised if they signed another running back, right? Maybe Kareem Hunt. I don't know, but I guess for me, I definitely think he'll get the opportunities. I expect Tampa Bay to want to run the ball a lot more than they did last year. They were one of the least run-heavy teams, if not the least run-heavy team in the league. Obviously, they had Tom Brady. But now they'll have Baker Mayfield. I'm not excited about the offense overall, but the more opportunities he has, he was efficient with the touches that he did get for the most part. As much as he could be with a beat-up offensive line. If they improve that, he's going to get more touches. I think he'll definitely be stock is definitely up on once they release Fournette. Stock was up. He had basically took the job from Fournette damn near like 3/4 of the way through the season. So, all systems go for him as of now until we know otherwise.
Yeah, for sure.
You know who else is on that team? Our favorite running back last year that we used to fight over? Chase Edmonds.
He's on the
yes. So, that's also good news for Rachaad White.
My question to you guys is about Chase Edmonds, since I know Jamie is the Chase Edmonds truther. Why did the Broncos trade for this guy and then just let him walk?
Because Nathaniel Hackett is an idiot.
Like, that was crazy.
I have a feeling that you know what part of me thinks?
Chase Edmonds isn't good? I don't.
No. Because I was on the Jamie can attest to this. I was on the bandwagon too. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I only thought of this because what you said, like how did they let him go? How are we not sure? And I can't believe I'm saying this because I am a fan. How are we not sure that it wasn't the other way around? That it wasn't Miami saying, we'll just give you Chase Edmonds. We don't care what you do with him. If you let us have Bradley Chubb, we'll just want him off our team.
Yeah.
We just need to get rid of him. Like,
yeah.
You never know. But I cannot believe I'm actually saying this. And this is why in the show sheet, guys, you guys saw a question mark after the name. It's a gut feeling.
I thought about that too, though, with you.
It's just a gut feeling. If I knew who was going to be the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens this year, Mark Andrews' name would not have been in the show sheet. But not knowing what's going to happen with Lamar and who's going to throw him the ball, and even if Lamar's there, is he going to be happy? Because I personally right now think that if Lamar is a Baltimore Raven on opening day, he's sitting on his couch. I still think there's a chance that he sits out and he just doesn't play this whole year trying to get that contract. But even if he does play, is he going to want to put all into it? Yeah, Mark is his buddy and they, short targets, medium targets, however you want to call it. There's just something telling me that it's stocked down. The problem with a talent like Mark Andrews and the position of a tight end, stock down in a tight end at his caliber is falling from 2 to 5. And I could easily see that having Kittle. I think Kittle's going to have a good year again. Freiermuth is, coming up.
Hawkinson.
I mean, for God's sakes, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud because I'm gonna make someone smile. Njoku is the
Yes.
kind of talent that could slip into the 5 to 7
Yep,
range.
I thought that last year.
With the right situation, he could slide in. There's just something telling me that he's not going to get the targets that he had, not going to have the touchdowns he has, because at a tight end position, part of the reason that him and Kelsey break up that, even that gap even further is they are both number 1 or number 2 touchdown target on their team. Jordan, what do you think?
Well, first of all, we got to be looking out for Logan Thomas with the addition of the quarterback the Commanders have. That stock up for him. But no, I was thinking exactly what you said about Mark Andrews. Like I thought about putting it because the situation with Lamar, man, it's just so up in the air. We don't know, and things with contract things like if you don't get the contract they want, they still show up, but then they're not completely invested. And then last year, when Lamar played, Mark Andrews wasn't that good. So, like, I mean, for a tight end, he was good, but for what we expected and where he was drafted, he was a disappointment. Um, and obviously, if Lamar doesn't play, I thought Tyler Huntley would have been good for Mark Andrews, but that myth has been busted.
Squash.
Yeah, that's over with. So, I'm worried about the whole Baltimore offense, regardless of what happens with Lamar Dobbins. I'm worried about the running game that it won't be as efficient if Lamar isn't there. But as far as Mark Andrews goes, man, stock down for now until we know what happens with Lamar. I'm worried about it. I would like Lamar to get his money. I would like for him to be ready to play. But if he doesn't get it, I anticipate him, like you said, possibly sitting out. I know he talks about his teammates and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you got to kind of look out for yourself. So yeah, I could see him sitting out to get his money, and if that happens, they don't. I don't know what they do to have a stop. Like, I mean, they'll have Huntley, but then I don't know. I would be worried about Mark Andrews.
I would be too.
Yeah,
Jamie, what do you think?
100% agree. Question marks all over the place. Like without Lamar playing, like last year we seen it. He was horrible when Lamar didn't play.
Yes.
I think it was the first 8 weeks. He was awesome, and then all of a sudden, they start falling off. Because I had him both in the Scott Fishbowl League, and then as soon as week 8, 9 hit, that's when I started dipping down from the top 100 all the way down to the thousands. But I mean, if he does sit out, and what's to say that they don't franchise him again next year, and he sits out again? Can he do that? So like, who's to say he's going to play for the next couple of years? So I'm worried about Andrews, man. Like I'd rather let someone else take him. I'll get Hawkinson next round or two, or even Njoku way later, like you said. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm out on him. Just until we see what happens with Lamar.
I mean, just real quick on my fingers, right? I'm just counting real quick, not going like looking at not trying to dissect who's on whose team, but you got Kelsey, you got Kittle, you got Freiermuth, you got Hawkinson. Those are 4 right there that I would take over Andrews without even hesitating. And I'm already What
about Kyle Pitts?
Oh, Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
yeah.
Pitts too, yeah.
And so right there, you're already pushing him out of the top 5, and that's without a Njoku decent year. Ingram could have a good year. We can't rule out what I can't believe I'm saying this. What Darren Waller could do in New York with Daniel Jones actually having a tight end. I mean, you never know. So I mean, that's what scares me.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to bring up?
So we talked a little bit about the Bucs offense with Rachaad White. I'm thinking stock down for the receivers. Stock down for Chris Godwin. Stock down for Mike Evans. Regardless of who, if Baker starts, if Kyle Trask starts, if I start, stock down. Like they won't be able to live up. I know Godwin will be healthier coming off of the knee injury, but I just don't trust Baker to be able to produce enough to support both of those guys. So it might either be one be good but the others suck. I don't see him being able to support 2 good receivers.
What do you think, Jamie?
I agree, man. Like if Baker's the quarterback, I see Godwin getting all those short passes because Baker can't hit Evans downfield. That's what he's known for, going for those long touchdowns. So like he's not going to get those touchdowns. He's not going to get those yards. So definitely stock down for Mike Evans there.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like you said, Jamie, I think if anything, it's going to be Godwin, if anyone. And that one of the reasons I did bring up Kareem Hunt was compared to a guy, say, like Zeke, just as an example, because Zeke is still a free agent, is the fact that I think Baker might need a passing running back more than we think. And because of that reason, if he is the starting quarterback. But we've all done our cheat sheet. We did our 10 topics. We'll throw it around the horn and we'll have a good evening, everybody. Jamie, why don't you start it off?
I mean, you can just find me here going for 2. Cheat sheet every other Tuesday right now. During the season, we'll do it every week, obviously. But I'm always here on the Going for 2 in the Discord. So go ahead and join the Discord, and we're always there for you.
Jordan, take it away.
You know, find me here on the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. You know, when the season starts, like Jamie said, we'll be doing it more frequently. You can catch me on Twitter at jarsenal89.
All right. You can find me at Drop the Mic FF. If you ever want to hit me in the DMs and have a person you want a graphic of, let me know. Jamie can attest to it. He's had me do a couple. I did his
Scott
Fishbowl banner. But other than that, you can find me here with the Going for 2 crew. I'm also in the Discord like Jamie. You can find me on the cheat sheet every other Tuesday. Like the boys said, we'll definitely be doing it more during the season every week, and probably partway through the summer go to every week on the lead up to the year. But for Jamie, for Jordan, I'm Mike, and peace out.